Hello everyone, welcome to my art tutorial. I'm Andoodle, and today I'm going to be showing you how to draw stuff like this, or this, or this, or this, or I don't know, this, and this guy on the left. He's cool. Let's get started. So, I bet a lot of you know that I use Ibis Paint X for my drawing app. It's really cool. I've been using it for a while and I've had no problems. It's a great app. You should download it. It doesn't matter if you have Ibis Paint X. Any drawing app will do. In fact, you could do this on pen and paper. This is also my style on pen and paper. I do that all the time. But for this demonstration, I'll be using Ibis Paint X. So let's get started. If you are using Ibis Paint X, to create a new canvas, you just press the plus icon here. And then they've got a lot of different sizes, and for this I'll just use HD size. It's not YouTube size, that's the 16:9, but we're just going to use that. And my stylus is the Wacom Bamboo Sketch. It's compatible with Ibis Paint X, another reason why I like it. And every time I press this button on my stylus, it activates palm rejection. And palm rejection is where I can rest my palm on the screen and draw at the same time. And it's cool. And if I press it again, it'll turn off, and I can use my fingers to move the screen. So during this video, you'll hear me clicking and doing this and yeah, all that stuff. Alright, so let's get started drawing your character. So there are a lot of different tools here on the left. You don't have to use all of them, but I use a wide variety. I mainly use the brush, the eraser, the eyedropper to get colors, the lasso to select certain areas, the magic wand to select certain areas, the transform in my picture. The filter adds a bunch of cool things like gradients, which are nice. Smudges things, blur things, special. I'm not entirely sure, but it can like distort an image in like this cool way. Text adds text, frame divider divides a frame that you make, and the canvas just changes your canvas size. It's really simple, and that's why I love this app so much. Okay, so first things first, select your brush and turn on palm rejection. I'm going to figure out my brush size. I usually set at like something, if I'm outlining, I'm setting it at like 6.5 pixels, like so. This is a good thickness for drawing. I like it. It is cool. So that's what I use. I also have the stabilizer right here. I have that 10 because it makes a much smoother image whenever you draw a line, and I just like it a lot, especially for my style. It is cool. And then for your brush, I'm using the dip pen. It's just good for outlining. Of course, there are all sorts of other things. Most of them you need a premium version for, or you can unlock it with an ad, which I do sometimes. And it's cool how they have all these different brushes. But mainly I just use the dip pen. And a few other things, like the airbrush, which is right here. Alright, let's draw our character. So, I usually start out drawing my head. It's like a square. A lot of people ask me why I draw it like a square, and my answer is because I play a bunch of Minecraft. Just kidding. I remember seeing one artist draw their characters, like, with a square head, and I kind of took that idea and ran with it, but put it in my own unique way. And it's got like rounded edges, and sometimes the front is bigger than the back. There's a little bit of a difference. And yeah, that's just my head. Now I'll do the eyes. I like to do the eyes next. Just these black ovals. A lot of styles have these, and yeah, they're just pretty simple. So here. Our two eyes. Next to the mouth, we'll just do like this kind of, kind of bored expression almost. And the line just going past the face, just, to make it look a little more unique. Next, we'll do the hair. You can add nose if you want, but I normally don't. Looks kind of silly with a nose. Then again, it looks silly anyways. Yeah, next we'll do the hair. I have a couple ways of doing the hair. First is like it's completely inside the head, so kind of like this sort of. That's kind of what my character has. The other is completely outside of the head, like this maybe, you know. And the last one is a combination of the two. It's like this maybe. Yeah. And there are all sorts of combinations you could do, but those are the three main ways that I make my hair. For this, I'll probably just go entirely inside the head. Cool. And that looks good. Next with the neck, make it medium size. Like to put on an angle. And yeah, that looks good. And if you want to, you don't have to do this, but I've seen it occasionally and I like it. You could basically draw a line kind of parallel to the head, and using the bucket tool on black, just press the area and it'll bucket it for you. And that's just a little layer shading that's completely black. And sometimes it's cool to have. I don't do it all the time, but I think it's pretty neat. And if you want to do that, go ahead. It's cool. Next with the body. For this demonstration, I'm just going to put this guy down here. Actually, I'll make him a little bit larger. Like so. We'll put him right there. And, let me think. And this is one of the ways I draw my bodies. Literally, it's just this. There's these two lines coming from the neck a little bit out to get the shoulders and just coming down. It's like he doesn't even have arms. Of course, you can always draw arms. Like here are some arms and hands. They're very simple. So if you ever want to do that, if you ever want to put arms on your character, first things first, you gotta draw the line for the shoulder, then come down for the forearm, or this part of the arm, and then for the fingers, it's literally just a bunch of sausages. Like so. That's your arm. I think that was pretty easy. And actually, we're gonna keep that. We're just gonna. There. Does that work? I don't know. Looks kind of odd. You know what? I'll just go back to what we had in the beginning. And that's how you just draw an arm if you ever need to. And there we go, that's our body. It's quite simple, and really easy to do, maybe in like animations. I haven't tried this style too much in animations, mostly just stickmen and other weird things. But yeah, now let's go to coloring. Now for coloring, it's really simple on iBus. You just get the bucket, click a color. They have a lot of preset palettes, but if you don't want to use that, they have a really nice color wheel here. With like all sorts of shades and hues and stuff like that. It's great. So, let's get started. I think for this guy, they've already have some preset skin tones for you. They're really good. And I like to use them more. But we'll kind of go off of this one. Maybe a little more orange. I think that will do. Sure, we'll go with that. And for his hair, let's go for like a really dark brown, maybe even a little red. Should that work? I want to make it bright. We want some bright, vibrant colors. Your favorite coloring, I kind of mumbled there. If you're ever coloring, you always want to get some nice, bright colors, especially in this style. Have some plans later. Let's see, what should we do for the body? Maybe we should like some sort of pink. Maybe like some sort of like aqua color. Okay. Let's see. Sure, that works great. I just realized that actually looks really similar to Minecraft Steve, especially with the square head. And I drew this thing upside down. It's right. Here's a little trick. If you ever want to switch your canvas, and have like the layers set to it, all you gotta do is go out, then press edit up here to go back in, and look, it switches the layers to you, or it switches the canvas to go whichever direction you had it locked in, which is really cool and a great feature. So we'll go back out and go back in to get back to our normal position, the landscape. Now let's go to shading. There are shading plus detail. So there are actually a lot of ways you can sort of shade your character on Ibis or in any drawing app. But on Ibis specifically, there are two ways. So a lot of character design, like especially on YouTube with the YouTube animators, they just have like an actual line dividing the light from the dark. It's really standard. You see in like the odd ones out, especially. That's kind of his thing, and I think we're going to be doing that with our character here. So first things first, there are two ways to do this. You can either click the magic wand, the tool, and press the space you want to shade, and then it'll automatically select it for you so that anything that you draw will be contained into here. So it's really easy for shading. Yeah, and it's really simple. So let's see, I can just like do this sort of, and boom, it works. We're actually gonna keep that. And if you wanna remove your selection, just click this button down here on the magic wand tool. Oops. Let's get out. We'll go back here, and he doesn't have any arms, so the only other place that's showing his skin is down here. And because we already have that black thing right there, that black shadow, I think we'll just. Does that work? You know what? I might just remove that entirely and just. Let's go with that. Oops. Alright. Next, we'll do his body. When shading, instead of just moving or getting the color just darker in general, that just looks kind of gross. One thing you want to do is also move this thing, move the hue sort of. So here, I'll demonstrate. So you have your color, right? Instead of just making it darker, looks kind of ugly. One thing you want to do is also move this thing right here. So I think we'll move it more towards the blue side. Okay, so let's go back. Make it a little bit. You can always move it darker, but you also want to make it. You also want to change like the saturation. So let's get like there where his head is, because our source of light is gonna be like right here, sort of like up here. Yeah, up here. And let's make that cleaner. There we have it. Let's also do the hair, just to finish off this thing real quick. And let's see. There. I think that's it. So that looks pretty good. That's just kind of like your basic shading, and how I normally shade my characters. It looks good. And so that's just kind of the lay of the land of how I draw my characters. I hope you like this. But now I'm gonna show you a bunch of other variations of my character. Because I have to add I'm gonna draw a version with legs so it'll look. So I have like a full body. This looks a little weird, but that is basically how I do my full body. So that's kind of like my full body. I'm not gonna shade it right now. There you go. These are my 2 demonstrations in this picture. Next I'll be showing a few more tips and tricks for extra detail and other cool things. And I also will be covering backgrounds too, which will be interesting. There. Okay, so now I'm going to show you my a special way of shading that I use occasionally. So you want to use, so this requires you to either have Ibis Paint X Premium or just watch an ad. And if you're not on Ibis, you could find a brush similar to this. Oh, there are a few ways to do it. So this is kind of like a special way of adding detail that I use in some cases. So we have our darker color, right? And we're using the clouds, cotton, or you can also use watercolor. That does not matter, but these are the 3 variants that you can use. And this adds for a much more realistic shading. Here, I'll redo this. That's for much more realistic shading, and sometimes it can give a really cool aesthetic that I like on a lot of my things. I'll show a few examples once I finish this guy. And honestly, I'm gonna be real with you here. It is just really easy to do this kind of stuff. I can do this easily. I can do this all day. But I'm not going to, because I have things to do. And boom, we're done. Look how easy that is. Just like that. And it's also easy to add like glares too, make a more realistic one. Kind of like that. Here, I'll lower the opacity, which you can do right here on Ibis. Kind of like that. It is cool. And I'm also going to show you a couple special effects you can add using the filter button. These are pretty self-explanatory. You have this, I don't know how to say it, please forgive me, a Gaussian blur. You can just blur your images. It's really cool. You can have the zooming blur. Wait. The moving blur, zoom. The lens blur, zoom. The mosaic, which kind of like pixelizes it. Very low rendering, I must say. Unsharp mask, which kind of, I don't really know. Frosted glass zooming, frosted glass moving. And that's just for the blurs. Also with style, you can add like a stroke, which is really cool for like thumbnails. I actually haven't used this for thumbnails. I should start doing that. It's really easy. I'm actually surprised this is a thing. Stained glass. Here, I'm not gonna go through all of these. There's this relief one, which makes it look like you put some, I don't know, 3D animation program and like add some light source. Let's see, you remove the light source. Isn't that cool? It even has like a glare too. That is really cool. And then they have some gradients, the parallel gradation. Because it's on the same layer as my drawing, it'll affect the drawing color itself, which is actually helpful in most cases. But if you're doing like the sky, it'll get into your art. This smooth light's really cool, and so you can just give that sort of you can just alter the colors to match the gradient, which is really cool. I use it on plenty of things. It's quite an amazing feature. This type of gradient is centered in the middle. This one's also centered in the middle, but there's like lines. That's cool. And they also have radial lines for, what am I saying? Yeah, they have radial lines that, as you can see in my game there. All that stuff. You know, speed line. I'm gonna change the color so you can see it. Like that. It's really cool. There are quite a lot of these. And I'm going to show you just a few more. You have the glitch effect, which is honestly a really cool aesthetic. I should use this more. Yeah, that's really cool. You can also add noise, which you can use for like those VHS sort of things. You can have like that sort of like 3D effect. Like these things are really cool. If you have IBIS, you're like all set. You can have like the expansion filter. This stuff's great. I'm gonna go ahead and put the glitch effect on here. We'll lower the strength a bit. Yeah, okay. That doesn't look great, but we'll keep it nonetheless. And yeah, that is just a bunch of filters you can add to make your art look very cool. And now I'm going to show you backgrounds. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find a background that I can put something on. I'll give you a few examples. This one, guy with cow, is really simple. I'm not an expert on these, but I'll show you what I do. I just have like a simple hill and then some sort of galaxy thing. In my Halloween speed draw, I just add some houses, a fence, the moon, the sky, which I used radiation for. Let's see, what else? On this one, and on like this one, actually in quite a few, I have like this like, these like clouds and stars. It's really simple and easy to make, especially with the cloud brush. And yeah, here's another example of my outlines. This is lineless art. In the future, I'm going to make a tutorial on how to make lineless art, kind of like these two examples and this one. Because I think I'm confident enough to make a tutorial on that. Let's go ahead. Let's go to this one. Let's add a background. You know, I've done this a lot, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the night sky. So first, you can press the plus right here to add another layer, grabbing the three lines right here, not the layer itself because it won't budge. But if you grab it on the right, you can move it down. So I move the layer down, and now we add our gradients right here. Okay, so I think I found something that works. I've used this old palette that I made. I think it'll work here. I'm unsure, but here we go. So this is kind of like a sunset, or a little bit after the sunset. As you can see, you can have most of the glare down below, but a lot of the night sky coming in. Put it at a short angle, maximum wavelength, maximum phase. IBIS has a lot of settings, so it's easy to do that. Yeah, that looks cool. I'm not sure if it goes with my drawing, but what the hey, I'm doing it. the stars on that layer too. I'm not able to. Alright, here's the plan. You want to duplicate this cloud because I don't think I can replicate this again. No, that's not gonna work. You know what? We'll just keep it like that. So, this is kind of a picture all in itself. This is kind of a picture all in itself. But that's how I do my backgrounds. You can see all the tools I made, all the strategies, and just how I do it. I think we'll end the video at that. So here's what we covered. We covered how to draw my characters in their ways, effects and extra things you can use for design, and how I make my backgrounds. I think that just about sums it up. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. This is new for me, so I don't know how well this tutorial is going to be. But I hope it turns out okay. Again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe. Okay, bye.